Hey, what's going on everybody? Tom here, and I'm going to be breaking down 2 music videos that Jake and I shot where I was the DP and Steadicam operator, and you're going to kind of get an inside look not only at some of the conversations that are had on set, but just get a sense of how these 2 videos were made. I've also included this visual index at the beginning, so if you are more interested at one look over another, feel free to skip ahead. Otherwise, we've got about 30 minutes of raw BTS from 2 single take music videos. So yeah, with that, let's jump right in.
So start moving. You're gonna wrap around. We're gonna just have a slight bit of ambient, and then probably right around here.
If she's underneath the space line,
yeah. So get up.
That lasso, throw that lasso, shoot that lasso with your guy. Left hand lasso, right hand lasso, 2 hand lasso with your guy. That lasso, spank that lasso, ride that lasso for my guy. That lasso, that lasso, weapon lasso for my guy. That lasso, weapon lasso, ride that lasso, that lasso, left hand lasso, right hand lasso, 2 hand lasso, that lasso, that lasso.
Just slow down more. And coming up. Here it comes. And there we go. Yeah, that's one moment. The only hard part where it's a lot longer than just that little move. So it's either just literally super slow, literally just like this, let him go, and you're just here, and we just really draw it out, or you just move a little quicker, and then for whatever reason we wrap around the whole backside, but it might just get this weird dead zone. So maybe just super slow that down.
Sure. My only thought, I'm just spitballing, is you could do something where I do go a little quicker, and as soon as she's off camera and I'm pushing in super sidey, she sneaks around me and goes to this corner, and I literally go past the seamless. She's just gigging in this corner, and then I really quickly wrap around on him again, and then. But then I might.
Yeah, that's gonna get tricky with her getting back, and then he's gonna be on this side when he leaves, and then you're gonna have to turn all the way.
Okay,
so.
86 then.
Yeah, I think
Try,
that's
do they have one or no?
No.
Okay.
I can go grab them after this.
You're good. It's just
But
the footprint's a little sus, but. We have a lecture on Learn Music Videos, so if you are watching this raw BTS and are also subscribed to Learn Music Videos, there's a really great lecture where we kind of include some of this footage as well. So if you're coming just off of seeing that lecture, or maybe are about to check this out, I do talk about rehearsals. But for those of you who maybe don't have access to that, I'll kind of touch on what I mentioned earlier. Is rehearsals for a single take are huge. I mean, you can kind of see right now, this single take has a lot of moving pieces where, as the camera's moving around, we're kind of having things introduced throughout the shot. Like you can see Jake and our friend Sam are kind of helping set up this backdrop. That's the beautiful thing of rehearsals is you can dial this all in. And before I even picked up the camera, you saw I was even just rehearsing with my iPhone. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're just trying to get a sense of timing. So as you can kind of see from this rehearsal pass, we're kind of just massaging all the beats out, because the worst thing that could happen is, if you're doing the take and you're at 90%, you're just finished, and the actor misses their mark, or me as the operator misses my mark, the whole shot's kind of for naught. You don't have additional shots, you don't have additional close-ups. The idea of a single take is you nail it. You front to start, it's 100%. You wouldn't change a thing. So in these rehearsals, we're kind of dialing in the timing, we're kind of trying to dial in the blocking. And yeah, that's kind of the important part of a rehearsal. We're also trying to work out the syncing to where the different elements are all kind of coming together. Playback coming up.
So Sam, I think we're good to just try and do it and go for one. So let's get Morgan back in here and let's just go for it.
Yo, Tom, 1,000 is such a vibe, dude.
Oh, it worked from down there?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, that's great. So she'll be standing there. Obviously, we'll move the fogger.
Yeah, I was trying to keep it head to toe. I think that'll be kind of cool.
Dang, you're such a great dancer.
Me? Thanks,
Yeah.
man. I'm pretty good at the static holds, right?
So were you too early on this one? Like when you came around, or was it soon enough?
No,
Or we didn't get
I
it.
need to go faster
Yeah,
here.
a little faster, and
I
we
think
need
the
to
verse
get up
kicked in
faster.
like right here.
Yeah,
It's kind of funny.
that's cool. Yeah, he was like taking a video too, so I had to like run that down, grab a small. So me and Sam will just stay behind.
And I'll go really wide.
Yeah, go wider on that pullback, so that way you have more room here.
Yeah.
To like push in all the way through. I'll have Sam. And then me and Sam will just stay real close.
Yeah, maybe tuck more that way. So this was a hazer we were using. This is the Roscoe V hazer. I'm also a big fan of the DF50 hazer. This just sort of really helps soften the light and lift contrast. We were working with a lot of natural lighting, you know, from the skylight that the dancer's underneath, and then those like 3 or 4 windows on that left side. And yeah, I mean, it ended up kind of just, like I said, lift the contrast. Actually, some of the sunlight, it helped kind of create those like beams of light. And knowing that we are going just a purely off natural light, I didn't have any sky panels, I didn't have any other auxiliary lights. I wanted to kind of create that soft, kind of dreamy, daylight look. And, haze is a great way to kind of create that like filmic, day, soft, dreamy light quality that, I don't know, as a cinematographer, I just naturally like to gravitate to. And yeah, I mean, you'll see the footage. Once you grade it, it doesn't end up looking as flat. I know when you're looking at this, like, behind the scenes, the behind the scenes camera does look quite flat and uninteresting. So when you do actually kind of throw some contrast and grade it, it really does look quite nice. So this is a shot. I think we're actually literally going for a take at this point. And we're really trying it. I know the first few takes, having been on the other side of the shoot, didn't quite work out from a timing point. I mean, even here, I'm kind of telling her that she already missed her mark. And that's fine. I mean, what's helpful is even when you're doing a single take, even on the first take, if you know there's a mistake, chances are you're not going to use that first take, but it's at least good just go all the way through. Don't just cut and be like, all right, we got to start over. Even if you know the take is unusable, it's helpful just to record it, because what you'll see that we do later is we queue up the monitor and we all, the artist, the dancer, me, Jake, we're all watching this take. And we ended up actually watching this exact take, and we gather around and we were able to add notes and suggestions. It's kind of hard to give notes to an artist or the dancer without having them actually visually see what they did wrong. So if we were just to cut just a moment ago and start from one, I don't think the dancer or the artist would have known that what the mistake was. So by just doing a take, no matter what, perfect or not, knowing that you're going to get others, it's just helpful to get one in the can. And that's just a phrase I like to say, just get one in the can. That means you can go to the monitor, cue up playback, and just literally kind of like a theater, just have everyone watch the shot. Everyone can kind of see, oh, okay, that's how it looks. Okay, cool. That's how wide it is. These are all very important things when you're doing a single take. Is after you've rehearsed it, just do one no matter what, if you nail it or not, just so everyone can kind of see what the shot's going to look like and how they look on screen.
So I think should be starting right around here.
Because that's the verse when that was starting, right? Or
This
when
is
it
the
was
chorus.
standing up? Oh,
Yeah, right. Oh, so.
Yeah, hit the fucking AC duct.
Gotcha. So yeah, we're hanging it here.
So you would actually stay there.
Stay,
And
yeah.
keep moving, keep
until
moving.
it turns.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah, keep going through here, dancing through here. And then we'll come around. And then kind of once we get around here is where his verse comes in, and you lead us off. Like right there,
Gotcha.
you're already, but like kind of dance off
Yeah,
frame.
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
like walk out.
Sorry, I was just.
No, we're just timing it up.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And I think I have an idea that would make this slower, because I got in there and it was still like 20 seconds
Gotcha.
left.
Okay.
I think I'm going to go really wide around her, so it's a big push in on him.
Okay.
Because yeah, I was like, oh dang, I'm already here.
Oh yeah, because you had to come back. Okay.
If I kept my mask on, that'll kind of.
So yeah, this is the build. We were flying my red Gemini with the Sigma 18-35, and something that a lot of people, I've posted photos actually before this raw BTS is aired, they've asked, why are you adding these weights? And if you kind of see alternate angles of this rig, you'll see that I've actually screwed on weights, like one right on top of the matte box you can kind of see, And the reason I do that, because you're probably thinking to yourself, if you're interested in Steadicam, or maybe you're a gimbal operator, maybe you're holding the camera, you're probably thinking, well, don't you want to make the camera as light as possible? And I can understand why you would think that. You want to obviously have enough energy and stamina, and why make it heavier. But if you were interested in just the mechanics of a Steadicam, I find my rig, the one that I own, flies the best when the camera is hovering around 22 to 25 pounds. Honestly, even a little heavier flies a bit better. And the school of thought is, if it's heavier, it's just going to move like a tank. It's just, if it's so light and squirrely, even just one little footstep or bump, even if you kind of nudge it a certain way, the shot's going to feel, I don't know, it's kind of like hard to explain. But if you were curious why I'm adding all these weights, the rig just flies better. The Steadicam just moves through the air better when it's at least around 22 to 25 pounds. So my Red, being pretty, fully built out, is honestly only like 19 pounds. And I know that sounds heavy, but even with the mat box, all the accessories. So I ended up purchasing weights from a company called Cinematography, and I'll definitely link them in this video. But Cinematography makes basically weights that you can screw onto your camera. So if you are, an up-and-coming operator, maybe you're also experiencing something with a DSLR. Maybe your DSLR is so light that you're like, dang, this is just too squirrely. I wish it was a little more inert. The panning, you want to kind of feel a little bit more, because if it's bigger, it's going to pan through the air really delicately, because it's just, imagine like a tank taking a U-turn. It's just going to move nice and slow, versus like a Maserati taking a U-turn. It's going to be very fast. And that's kind of a weird analogy, but basically, yeah, if you were curious about the weights, basically I kind of want my rig to be around 22, 25 pounds, and those weights kind of got me there. And yeah, here's another snippet from another take. And it's cool just kind of seeing this behind the scenes angle, because you can kind of see, when you just peel back beyond the frame, all the crazy stuff that's happening. And we knew in this music video we wanted to be revealing the artist. So as the camera is revealing around a space that we've already established, because when we started this shot, he wasn't obviously there. It's just, something to keep visual interest, because if you have a 3-minute single take and it's just the same shot over and over, showing the same space over and over, in today's generation, I think people get kind of bored easily. So by keeping it visually interesting, we wanted to reveal within a space that we already established a new element, like this, backdrop and the artists weren't there when we first were looking this way. So keep that in mind. If you are doing a single take, try to keep it visually interesting. If that's revealing new information, if that's just sort of introducing a new lighting cue or a new blocking cue, because there's nothing more boring than watching the same thing unfold for 3 minutes, especially without an edit. Because that's the cool thing about editing, is you kind of can keep the viewer interested by cutting to various pieces of coverage, cutting into a close-up, cutting into inserts and stuff. So when you're not cutting, you kind of need to, in theory, kind of cut in new things, but without editing, if that makes sense. So since you're not going to be cutting to different pieces of coverage, kind of build different little pieces of coverage into that single take to keep it visually interesting. So yeah, that's just a tip. I mean, that's something that me and Jake like to do a lot of oneers. And at the end of this Raw BTS, I'll actually link a few oneers just from narrative short film projects that we've done, because beyond these music videos, single takes are a lot of fun for us. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up that take.
I hit ops up with my guys, 18 bitches in my bar. I get money with my guys. I like money, I like honey. I take dancers with my guys. I smoke cookies with my guys. Won't take hoes over my guys. Ride that lasso for your guys. Ride the to the eye. Bring that back up with your guys. Selfish nigga, that's not my guys. I fuck honeys, I make money. Lasso that hoe with my guys. I fuck honeys.
Can we get it to where I can rewind it? Bring it down. I don't know.
Where do you want me to rewind it to?
Just where he's leaving the frame. So Will, right here. Even if I know he got in too soon and then he kind of is drifting back, but as best as you can, we need you to lead us to her. So don't walk off to this side. It needs to be you wrap around. So
You can almost walk to the wood wall.
right.
Cross
So
the camera.
boom, come around here. Don't go there. You got to lead us into her.
Gotcha.
So you just walk off of that thing and walk around the camera, and then you can come back. But we need you to kind of like lead us into her. I mean, that would work and be fine, but it would just look visually much better if you like led us into the frame. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Let's do it again.
Team.
So you can lead us into the frame.
Sure.
Go wider on the backside just so you have more leeway to really push in on him. Because
Yeah.
when you go back that far, it makes it hard for him to
I feel that.
lead you in. Cool.
And yeah, perfect.
Camera push. Cue the music.
That lasso, throw that lasso, shoot that lasso with your God. Left hand lasso, right hand lasso, two hand lasso with your God. Bend that lasso, stack that lasso, ride that lasso, oh my God. Throw that lasso, wet lasso, oh my God. Bend that lasso, wet lasso, ride that lasso, throw that lasso, left hand lasso, right hand lasso, two hand lasso, shoot that lasso, throw that lasso, bend that lasso, bang her lasso, bang that lasso, left hand lasso, right hand lasso, smoke a lasso.
Lead us out.
I get trippy with my God.
Lead us out.
I hit octo with my God. 18 bitches in my God. I get money in my God. I like money, I like honey. I get dancers with my God. I smoke cookies with my God. Move big hoes with my God. My God, that's what I'm your God. Rappers do not I bring that back up with your God. Selfish nigga, that's not my God. I fuck honeys, I make money. Let's up that hoe with my God. I fuck honeys, I make money. Let's
Here we go. And
Roll that lasso, throw that lasso,
Cross the
shoot
camera.
that lasso with your God. Left hand lasso, right hand lasso, two hand lasso with your God. Bend that lasso, spank that lasso, ride that lasso for my God. Roll that lasso, throw that lasso, wet lasso for my God. Bend that lasso, wet lasso, ride that lasso, throw that lasso, left hand lasso, right hand lasso, two hand lasso, shoot that lasso, roll that lasso, bend that lasso, bang that lasso, bang that lasso, left hand lasso, right hand lasso, smoke a lasso for my God.
And pose.
perfect, Tom. And I can tell this creep is just like much more in line. But like that would still work, but in a perfect world, you would have let us out a little sooner.
So
And that's
can
kind of
I
hard to
just-
hear his verse, but I mean, you try and listen for it, but I can give you a and clear, and then maybe.
That's fine. And so, but if I'm listening, can I just
I like that,
lead
Tom. I like that.
the end of the chorus, just like no matter what lead,
Yeah.
or am I kind of still waiting?
No, don't worry
Just-
about me. I gotta get to the front.
Okay. So
Yeah,
I'm
see,
just
that's
gonna
fine
lead-
if you pull back a little bit like that, Tom. and
Yeah.
Yeah, boom, and then leads it. Yes.
Cool.
So that's what we want right there.
Cool.
Like all that's great. I mean,
I mean, you could use this, but let's nail it.
right. Yeah, everything about that is perfect, other than like if we just got let out a little sooner
Oh,
on
my
that first
God.
one.
And
But
then
that
you
looks,
like it.
looks
He's
really
kind
good.
of. Yeah, let's watch it. There was kind of an idea that come to mind that once I'm doing that last parallax rounder, I could go in close and just spin and spin and spin and then pull back. Just so it's, I mean, if you love this one, I could just
No,
give you an
I like that. Like I just want, we'll just see her dance
Okay.
and move in the space. I think it's cool. You set, Tom?
Set.
Alright. Camera move. And cue music.
Throw that lasso, throw that lasso, shoot that lasso with your God. Left hand lasso, right hand lasso, two hand lasso with your God. Bend that lasso, throw that lasso, ride that lasso for my God. Throw that lasso, throw that lasso, wet lasso for my God. Bend that lasso, wet lasso, ride that lasso, throw that lasso, left hand lasso, right hand lasso, two hand lasso, shoot that lasso, throw that lasso, bend that lasso, bang that lasso, bend that lasso, left hand lasso, right hand lasso, smoke a
And clear up.
I get trippy with my God. I hit ops up with my God. 18 bitches in my ride. I get money with my God. I like money, I like honey. I tip dancers with my God. I smoke cookies with my God. Won't big hoes over my God. Ride that lasso for your God. Ride the tuna, break that back up with your God. Selfish niggas,
So as I mentioned, this is the second single take. We actually shot this the very next day. And yeah, I just included this because this was actually just a sunset shot. So this is a shorter video that I didn't feel like would be a whole lecture on itself. So we kind of just tacked it on to the other single take that we just broke down. The audio, it was so windy that a lot of the audio from the camera that was recording all this behind the scenes, the microphone was so clipped out that I'm just going to honestly narrate all of this. So yeah, kind of jumping right in, we are shooting in the desert, and the premise of this single take video is I am prepping my camera for Steadicam to be mounted on the back of a pickup truck. And if you've seen other raw BTS on our Learn Cinematography platform, we basically did a very similar rig on the Roadrunner Sports running commercial. And yeah, we are essentially doing the same thing where you basically have a trailer hitch. I mounted a piece of speed rail, and then I have an accessory, a Walter Klassen vehicle hard mount that allows me to mount my Steadicam to this speed rail. And the premise of this single take is we are basically mounting my Steadicam to the back of a pickup truck, and we are having the artist run after the pickup truck. And the idea of this whole shot was to shoot it right at sunset. And it was a pretty gloomy day, so it already kind of looks like the sun has gone down. But mind you, this is like 2 or 3 o'clock, and yeah, the idea was to rehearse, build, get everything dialed in, and then right at sunset, shoot a few takes and walk away. And if you've seen our lecture on the Learn Music Videos platform, that's something that we try to echo is like, try to, shoot at the right time of day. Don't shoot this at high noon when the lighting's trash. Like, rehearse and do all of these like prelim things, setting up the lighting, set up the camera while the lighting's trash. And then right at the end of the day, when you have a nice pocket of light, when you're all dialed in, try to shoot 1 or 2 takes and then be done. And one of the bigger components for this single take was using a Leica, which you can kind of see here. That's the light right there that has a little 36 on the front, a Source 4 Leica. And then, yeah, we basically just cut a red gel, put it into a gel frame, which, mind you, the light comes with a gel frame. And now we've basically created a red spotlight. And with being enrolled in our course, you actually get a discount code to Film Tools. And this isn't like a direct plug. I'm just trying to make it easy for you guys. Like, you can literally go on Film Tools' website and buy this red gel. The gel is called Primary Red. It's 100% red. And I say that because there's like different party reds that tend to lean more orange. But if you literally type in Primary Red, it's going to be the reddest color you can possibly get. And yeah, we basically got, for the premise of this video, we're going to have the artist be chasing the truck as I'm shooting on Steadicam, but we're also going to be spotlighting him with a red light. And we were kind of going for something a little more surreal because you're going to have the blue hour, the blue sky, kind of a cooler color grade mixed with a red light. So there's going to be some cool color contrast. And yeah, we're basically just powering this 750 Leica off of a 2000 watt generator. And yeah, you could probably rent a generator if you're trying to do a very similar effect from your local hardware store. I know Home Depot rents generators for $30 to $50, and that's about what we paid. Mind you, we went to a lighting rental house in Los Angeles called Wood Nickel to get this gear. But look, if you're in another town, another city where you don't maybe have access to a lighting rental house, you could easily get a generator from your local hardware store. So yeah, we're basically pretty dialed in. I think we're just putting in the last filters. I'm kind of just tuning the Steadicam. And yeah, we're about ready to do this shot. We're essentially doing the shot where the artist is going to be running. We're kind of just dialing in all of the last things, because that's the thing. When the sun is going down, the clock is ticking. And we wanted to kind of make sure everything was perfectly dialed in, everything was perfectly in sync. So when the light was right, we could just knock out a beautiful take. And as you're watching this too, I don't want any of you to be discouraged by seeing the gear that I'm using. If you have similar gear, cool. I mean, maybe obviously take some notes, but just because this was the gear I have and I had access to, if you're just going to shoot something similar, maybe just handheld out the back, I mean, that's totally fine. I mean, the reason we were just using the stabilizer was, obviously we just wanted to eliminate the bumps from the road and stuff, but don't think that you're seeing all this gear, that this is the only way to do this shot. I mean, you could easily, safely rig yourself to the back and shoot handheld or mount your tripod. I mean, obviously there is a disclaimer, like if you go and do this shot, just know that this is inherently dangerous. And, obviously if you get hurt, that is very much you taking on that risk. But beyond sort of that disclaimer, know that you can use any piece of gear you have access to. If you have a Ronin, if you have a Steadicam, a Sticks, an Easy Rig, you can do a very similar shot. It just kind of depends on the shot you're going for. And we wanted that floating through the air, kind of camera perfectly, not, bouncing and jostling. But maybe that's not the vibe you're going for. If you were going for something that's more gritty, bumpy, frenetic, yeah, I mean, put the camera on your shoulder, do what I'm doing, but instead of holding a Steadicam, you could literally be just doing the same exact or similar setup with an artist or a subject running, but do it handheld. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that disclaimer in just to kind of give an idea of like, don't think that you're just seeing all this gear, that this is the only way to do it. But yeah, this is actually a BTS angle from my GoPro. And yeah, I just kind of snuck it in there, threw it on a clamp, and it's just cool. I mean, you can see that it takes a village sometimes. And, I've got my buddy Dan running the Leco, literally holding it, because obviously if you put a C-stand in the back of the truck and then the truck starts moving, you risk obviously the light falling over. And there's moments where the artist was moving, so like having a human operate the light. So full disclaimer, that light gets pretty hot. So Dan's a trooper for that one. But yeah, I mean, you can literally see it really does take an army. I've got my buddy Travis running playback and doing BTS. So you can see just all the moving pieces. And the shot, in my opinion, I think turned out pretty good. Mind you, the artist rolled up a bit late. So as you can see, the sun is already far gone beyond where we wanted to shoot it. So unfortunately, if, obviously hindsight's 2020, if we had more time, that would have been ideal. Cause yeah, him arriving an hour late, definitely kind of threw a curveball, cause we were trying to have more of a sunsetty blue hour sky. And at this point it's almost nighttime. And that's something to consider too, is when you're doing a single take, know that. I mean, you could be super prepared, but if the artist arrives late, obviously you need to be prepared for that scenario. And I think we got maybe 2 or 3 takes before it was like, I was boosting the ISO up to like 2000, where we're like, yo, we should probably call it. But yeah, I mean, pretty simple shot. Like I said, I'm mounted to the back via some speed rail and my Steadicam. You could do the same with your sticks, tripod, easy rig, handheld. And yeah, basically just having a subject running towards a truck or a vehicle of some sort, and then we're just spotlighting them with a Leco Source 4 with a primary red gel. And yeah, you can see the artist just totally ran out of steam. And I mean, it's a tricky shot. It definitely takes a bit of endurance. And yeah, this is the last take I think I have in this raw BTS. We ended up trying an alternate. Instead of him running towards the truck, we actually just had him running off to the side. And I don't know, I actually ended up liking this take a lot because it allowed the camera to kind of point towards the horizon line, which is that sunsetty sky, because the sun was sort of setting off in the distance. So we're like, well, how about, since we've lost our sunlight, let's point the camera towards whatever light there is still in the sky, which happened to be the direction that the camera's pointing. And now we have 2 options. Obviously, I really did like the previous take where he was running towards us, but this was also just a B take that, now in post we have 2 options. And it is a single take, so don't think like, oh wait, well, I thought it was a oneer. It is. So we're basically doing the oneer twice, one this way and one the other way. And something too, we wanted to reveal information. That's kind of like a key thing I think about a oneer or a single take is throughout the take, you're revealing something new. And for us, we basically started the shot panned off into the distance, and the shot's moving, the song kicks in, we're just sort of seeing an empty desert landscape, and then the artist stumbles into frame, kind of revealing him. And I think that's just a subtle element that really just involves just a pan or the artist slightly increasing their speed to create a nice reveal of the subject versus the camera rolling from the instant and just seeing them already. So yeah, just trying to implement some of the ideas from the previous single take where, yeah, you want to reveal new information and just keep it visually interesting. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up this raw BTS. Like I said, we're going to queue up both of these single takes uninterrupted so you can kind of see what they look like with the song, with the color, and everything put together. Bye.